Here's a truth nobody wants to hear. Most salespeople are fighting the wrong battle. They're focused on convincing the customer, on objection handling, on overcoming resistance, on finding the right words at the right moment to push the deal across the finish line. But the first sale, the most important sale, isn't out there. It's in here. Tracy says it as plainly as anyone ever has. The most important sale you ever make is the one you make to yourself. Before you can transfer belief to a customer, you have to own it. Before you can create certainty in someone else, you have to feel it in your bones. Before you can convince anyone to trust you, you have to trust yourself. That's the invisible sale. And it happens or fails to happen every single day, whether you realize it or not. Let me take you back to a morning I still think about. I was working in fundraising, this was years ago in Canada, shopping center campaigns for child sponsorship. You know how it works. You set up your display, people walk by, and your job is to stop them, connect with them, move them to give. It's pure face-to-face. No hiding, no email buffer, just you and a stranger, and about 3 seconds to earn their attention. On paper, I knew how to do it. I'd done it hundreds of times, thousands of times. But that morning, I woke up feeling off. I don't even remember why. Maybe I didn't sleep well. Maybe I was tired of rejection. Maybe something in me had started to question whether any of this even mattered. I got to the mall early, set up my display, put on my lanyard, and as people started walking by, I felt this weight in my chest. Not nerves, something heavier. Doubt. I approached the first person. I smiled, said my opening line, and before they even responded, before they had a chance to say yes or no, I could feel myself bracing for the rejection, expecting it, almost inviting it. And sure enough, they brushed past without making eye contact. The next person, same thing. And the next. By noon, I had barely made a connection. People weren't just saying no, they weren't even stopping. It was like I was invisible. And I started telling myself stories. It's a slow day. Wrong demographic. People are distracted. The holidays. Everyone's in a rush. But deep down, I knew. The problem wasn't them. The problem was me. I hadn't made the invisible sale. I hadn't convinced myself, really convinced myself, that what I was doing mattered. And if I didn't believe it, how could they? So that afternoon, I took a break, walked outside the mall, found a bench away from the noise, and I did something that felt almost embarrassing at that time. I closed my eyes and asked myself a question, not out loud, but deliberately, intentionally. Why am I here? Not the paycheck answer, not the career answer, not the surface level because I need to earn a living answer. The real answer, the one underneath. And as I sat there, really sat there without distraction, it started to come back. It was the kids, the communities we were helping, the families who would never meet the donor, but whose lives would be different because someone stopped for 30 seconds in a shopping center. I started picturing it. A child getting clean water. A mother watching her kid go to school for the first time. A village with a well where there used to be nothing. Real people. Real change. Not statistics, not talking points. Actual human beings whose lives were better because of what we were doing. And as I held that picture in my mind, as I let myself feel it instead of just think it, something shifted. The weight lifted. Not because anything external changed, but because I had reconnected with why this mattered. I had made the invisible sale. I walked back into that mall, a different person. Same script, same smile, same opening line. But now, when I approached someone, I wasn't hoping they would believe me. I already believed, and they could feel it. The first person I talked to A woman walking quickly, clearly in a hurry, stopped. She listened. She asked questions. She signed up. Then the next, and the next. By the end of that day, I had one of the best shifts I'd ever had. Not because the market changed, because I changed. Tracy talks about something he calls the law of cause and effect. It's simple, but it's profound. Success isn't an accident. Failure isn't an accident. They both have causes. And if you do what successful people do consistently and repeatably, you will eventually get the same results. But here's the catch. Doing it isn't just about action. It starts with belief. You have to cause your own conviction before you can cause the sale. The invisible sale always comes first. Think about the best salesperson you know, the one who seems to close without effort, who walks into conversations and somehow people just trust them. What do they have that everyone else doesn't? It's not a magic strip. It's not some secret technique. It's the invisible sale. They've already convinced themselves. So when they speak, there's no gap. There's no hesitation. There's no underlying uncertainty for the buyer to sense. Just alignment, just conviction, just truth. Here's why this matters so much. You can teach someone a script. You can drill objection handles until they're automatic. You can practice closes and tie downs and trial closes until they're muscle memory. But you cannot teach conviction. You cannot script belief. You can only cultivate it. And cultivation starts with intention, with reconnecting every single day to why this work matters. I've seen this pattern repeat more times than I can count. A rep is struggling. Numbers are down. They're working hard, maybe harder than ever, but nothing's landing. And when I sit down with them and ask, do you believe in what you're selling? Really believe, not just intellectually agree, there's a pause, a hesitation. And that hesitation is the answer. They've lost the invisible sale. Maybe they're frustrated with the company. Maybe they've heard too many complaints. Maybe they started to question whether the product actually delivers. Whatever the reason, the conviction is gone. And until it comes back, no technique will save them. So here's the reflection I want you to sit with. When was the last time you really made the invisible sale? Not just told yourself you believed, not just showed up and hoped for the best, but actually felt it. Felt the weight of why you're doing this. Felt the certainty that what you offer genuinely helps people. Felt in your body, not just your mind, that this matters. If you can't remember the last time you felt that, no wonder the numbers are stuck. The technique is there, but the foundation is cracked. So here's what I want you to do. Not tomorrow, not next week, today, before your next call, your next meeting, your next pitch. Take 60 seconds. 60 seconds, that's all. Close your eyes. Take a breath. And ask yourself that question. Why does this matter? Not to the company, not to your boss, to you. Why does this work matter? Who does it help? What changes because of what you do? Find the answer. Hold it in your mind. Feel it in your body. And then, and only then, go make the call. I promise you, they'll feel the difference because you will. But here's what I learned. The invisible sale isn't something you make once. It's something you have to keep making because there's a force working against you, a psychological regulator that's constantly trying to pull you back to where you started. And until you understand how it works, you'll keep hitting that same ceiling. That's the income thermostat. And it explains more about your career than you probably want to admit. So let's go deeper. Hey, Thanks for checking out this clip from the Sales Evolution Lab podcast. If you found value in this lesson, be sure to hit subscribe to evolve for the future of selling. And if you want the full breakdown, the deeper stories, the practical toolkit, check out the full episode of the Sales Evolution Lab podcast. Just click the video on the screen, and I'll see you there.